Welcome back to the Dreaming Night Build podcast, where we empower women to step into their calling, elevate their mindset, and build businesses and lives they truly love. As y'all know, I'm your host, Genesis Hay Crick, and I'm honored to introduce an incredible guest today. Tara Gilvar is a natural connector and passionate advocate for empowering women to live with purpose, authenticity, and confidence. For the past 16 years, she has led BIG, which is Believe, Inspire, Grow, which is a global women's empowerment organization that has grown to nearly 14,000 members worldwide. Through weekly inspiration, resources, and meaningful connection, she has built a values-driven community rooted in transparency, generosity, and inclusivity, which encourages amazing women to embrace their unique talents and lead with purpose. Tara, welcome today. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
I'm honored to be here, Genesis. Thanks for having me.
So I am truly inspired just by reading your bio, and I've been watching you online now, I want to say for about 6 months, and it just has taken me back in awe because I think to myself just how much you have done over the course of these last 17 years, impacting women and doing all of these things, not only in the community, but worldwide. That is so impressive.
Well, thank you. It's been a build like any other women, and I didn't intend to do this, right? I consider myself an accidental entrepreneur, but you start to pursue something, and then you follow the trail, and hopefully, and you learn along the way, and you build along the way, and you bring people connected, and it can evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. So Believe, Inspire, Grow. How did you come up with that, first of all? How did you come up with that, I guess, acronym, right? And how did it initially come about? Because you did a lot of amazing things before that came to be.
So my background was in public relations and marketing. I did that. So I did know marketing, and that's kind of what is the core behind it, because we really want to promote women and their businesses and what they do. So that was a good skill to have. For me, what it was I was a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. Like so many millions of women, we have these careers. The money doesn't work out once the childcare kicks in or the time away from your children. So I stayed at home and I tried to figure out life as a stay-at-home mom, and it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't fully fulfilling. I mean, I was privileged, right, to be able to stay at home. It's a gift. But I also was meant to do other things. And I met so many other women that were similar to me, educated women who had a former career that were looking for something more, something. We are on this planet to make a legacy and to build things. And we needed to do that. So one day I dropped my son off at the middle school, and I saw a bumper sticker on a teacher's car, and it said, "Remember who you wanted to be." And it was like, oh, I'm not her. I'm not the girl that the fantasy of a 5-year-old that says, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wasn't the girl when I was choosing my college major. I wasn't the girl that when I graduated and I thought the sky is my limit. I was a stay-at-home housewife, which was like horrifying as my definition of me. So I lived in a town called Bernardsville, New Jersey.
Okay.
And a tiny little town. And I called all the women that I could know. I checked every box on my inbox. Nothing strategic, which we've learned is important later on. But I invited them to my house. And I said, under the email title, "We're Still Smart." Maybe we could find professional fulfillment in our lives and still keep our personal and family connections on track. And 42 women showed up in my living room.
Wow.
And
that's a great first meeting.
It was a great, but you know what it was? I tapped into an untapped need. There were so many women who were like me, who were lonely, who weren't feeling fully fulfilled, even though we had all the wonderful benefits of being a mom and being in a nice community. We just didn't have the rest of our lives, that part of it, fulfilled. And so it was called Bernardsville Ideas Group, BIG. And I was writing this email just randomly, and I got tired of putting the Bernardsville Ideas Group name in. So I put B.I.G. And we went with that, and we started this little group, and it went, and people were showing up at a church hall month after month. And I said, well, listen, it costs money to rent this hall, and I'm bringing you waters and coffee, and I don't want to be that woman that ends up with a bill at the end of the day when I'm trying to do something. Would you put some money in the kitty, and can we do this together? And that's how it started as a membership group. And then I got a call from a person from the town next door, and they said, well, I saw you run this group, and I'd like to have this group, but I don't want to be in your town. I want it to be in my town. How do we do this? Because I see it's Bernardsville and I don't live in that town. So what do we do? And I said, well, we'll change the name. We'll change the name to be what it really is, to believe, to get inspired and to grow, to believe in yourself, to inspire others and to grow mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. And that's how it started. Just from the evolution of real life. That we've been grassroots our whole time, to keep the authenticity.
Yeah. So now, fast forward, you are 16
17 years in
17
March,
years.
And we have about 16 groups. It's evolved. I mean, obviously COVID reorganized everybody's world, but we are fully engaged with about 16 groups now. One of them is just exclusively online. The rest are local community groups around up and down the East Coast.
Very cool. I love it. And just by you seeing that bumper or that sticker, that it made all the difference.
That's the thing. I think, it took one email. And followed it. And I remember after that meeting, we went around the room. Once I knew all these women were coming, I'm like, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. And I went and we asked 3 questions, and we asked these 3 questions every single time. It brings a lot of emotion to the table for women. Mm-hmm. Who were you? Who are you now? Mm. Who do you want to be, and where are you struggling to get there? Mm. How are you struggling to get there? And when you focus the energy on a woman who's been taking care of other people for so long, whether it's their children or whether they've gone through, marriage issues or whether they're taking care of senior parents, and we are such nurturers, right? Yes. And we give our lives to other people so often. When you focus the energy back on them, it's jarring. Yeah. It's very emotional, and they start to tell their stories about their children or about their husband. And we're like, what about you? What about you? And they get emotional because they haven't focused on themselves for so long. Yeah. And, that's the core of what this is, that you have a right and a privilege to be the best person you wanted to be. And maybe it's not the prima ballerina that you went to dance school for when you were 18, but that whatever that was, that essence of that person, you can be that person. You may have to do it in a different how, but you have the right to be that person. And we only live a very short window. COVID did that, right? COVID taught us we have a finite time. That's right. To do this.
That's right. And having that holistic approach, I think, is essential for women. Yeah. Because it's not just that masculine, like, I've got to do business and make money and, earn more revenue. Of course there's pieces of that to building a business, but I think we're even seeing it more and more today, where there's more and more women, first of all, that are stepping into the workplace, more and more women that are building businesses, but they're also wanting to be a part of their families. They want to bring it all together. So in order to do that, the approach is going to be very different than a typical, go to work 9 to 5, come home, take care of your kids, or the way that men do things.
Exactly. We are different than men. Not better, not worse, just different, right? Men compartmentalize. They go to work. They do work. They go play golf. They play golf. Yeah. We're like doing something and thinking, what they have for lunch? Where about the laundry? Where I got to get milk. We just think like that, and that's okay. We have almost different purposes here. Yes. But I do think women who are running businesses, they run it, like you said, money is a very essential part. Let's not take that away. We need the money for lots of reasons to fulfill the goals and dreams of what we want to do. Yes. But women tend, in the years that I've been doing this, they tend to start businesses for different reasons. They want to make an impact. Mm-hmm. They want to make the world a better place. They want to make people's lives better. When you think about the ideas and businesses that women do, it's related to children, it's related to products, it's related to feel good in your white pants, it's related to all those things, right, that are about making other people feel better about life.
And I think it's the big picture, the abundance aspect of the whole equation, not just bits and pieces of it or compartmentalizing as it's easier for, like you said, men to do. We want to incorporate all of it, and we want to be able to do all of it well.
And I think, that you can't do it well all the time, right? Because you're failing at something, right? So that's why I think the most important thing we can do as an organization or as women is to surround ourselves in community. I think that when we think about it, what's the most important thing out of all these events and meetings and things that we've put together, I thought about it at this stage and I'm thinking it's the community that is so essential because we can't do it all alone. And we're not going to know all the information. We don't have degrees in multiple business aspects. We're not an accountant, a marketer, a salesperson, executive. We're not a social media person. We're not all the things at once. So you have to surround yourself with other women who have those expertise, who are willing and have the same value structure, aligned with you. I mean, before you start the why and the how, what are your values?
Yes.
And be with those women.
Yep. And being crystal clear with that and just making sure that you're aligning with people that have similar values to you.
And it's very hard. I know what you do in your work. I mean, is to try to keep people focused on those things because there's so many distractions, right?
Yes.
And you get these opportunities that come that look like good and they don't really feel right, but it sounds so right. Maybe you're not doing it right. And you go off the path every single time you're wrong. Stick to the value propositions that you believe in because forget the noise. And it's very hard to do. Yeah, it's a tough challenge, but it's worth it.
It's absolutely worth it. And just knowing the impact that you can make in the world just by stepping into that person that God called us to be and fulfilling that mission and doing it every day, despite it being hard. And despite not being able to do everything all the time, we do what we can do. We do it to the best of our ability and having that support system, that community. That's what truly is going to pull us through. That like-mindedness, that camaraderie, that idea that we can all rise together. We can all do this thing. When you're a little bit down, I can pull you up. When I'm a little bit down, you can pull me up.
Each other. I mean, we are communal as women. And our groups are called pods, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, pods, why pods? And I thought, well, I like the name. That was the instinct, right? I like the name. It was softer, more feminine than a chapter or a unit.
Yeah.
And then you do what, women trust. Well, when they trust their instincts, it's usually the right answer, right? So then the logic kicks in later because we're writing a leader guide. And why do we call it pods? So you do what everybody else does is you Google. So pods turned out to be a place where seedlings grow. And we're like, great, that's exactly what we're trying to do here with women. But the second definition was even more powerful. It was the most intelligent creatures on the planet travel together in groups called pods to overcome obstacles, like dolphins here in Florida, right? And that's what we do in groups as women. We work together. We're better together to overcome obstacles in life. And there's so many of them.
Yes.
If we travel in pods. And then it goes on that only the female dolphins travel in pods. The males tend to travel alone. So there's a couple lessons there, right? We're on the right track, right? Like we should travel together in pods. We should be collaborative, not competitive. We are not. Right. That's not who our DNA is making us, want a magnitude. But also trust your instinct. I didn't know all that when I came up with the name, but it was the right answer. So we have been taught as women to tap down your instincts until you have all the facts behind it. But we know we wake up before the baby's sick. We know that the instincts are so important. Malcolm Gladwell in Blink does that, right? He says, instincts. But we have that superpower. And we have a superpower. And our male counterparts don't really have it. They have some, but not to the degree we have it. So use it.
Oh, that's so good. And I love what you touched on about like the competition aspect because the way of the world just screams, be competitive, be out there, and in more of like an aggressive, hostile way. And it hurts my heart when I see these women competing like that because I'm like, you know what? You don't have to do that. You don't have to put that kind of energy out there because I truly believe what you put out, you receive back in return. And so you're going to be getting that kind of same like competitiveness from other people. Right. Whereas if you are just focused on, regardless of what someone is doing, like if they're in the same exact niche as you, or if it's something that's comparable, still supporting them.
We don't ever have, I know BNI has it where you can only have one person. We're the opposite of that. We would have 5 photographers in one pod because you know what? You can collaborate. You can share vendors. You focus on wedding photography. You focus on baby photography. You focus on, product photography. You can refer each other. When we take that down, that guard, and we come from a position of strength and confidence instead of insecurity and fear, right?
Yes.
Which is, what is all that?
Fear. That's right.
Take it down. The collaboration, the friendships, the camaraderie is so more valuable than 1 or 2 clients. And the clients come. The clients do come. Because maybe they decided, we've had lots of photographers over the years who've evolved into branding and, they refer. it just doesn't have to be that way. Like it has to come from the feminine.
That's right. And I feel like it's just naturally, when you put yourself out there, it just exudes such powerful confidence. People are going to be attracted to that. It's not going to matter how many other people are in the room. And the thing that I always go back to as well is that there's always somebody for everybody, right? Like you are going to find your people when you put yourself out there, as you said, core values, mission, and you continue to live that path and you walk it out every day, those people are going to come into your life.
And you know what? I mean, I'm reading 2 books right now, studying the masters, right?
Yeah.
Walt Disney. I just did a women's retreat in Disney. And there's a book,
Fun.
and there's a Harvard educator wrote a book on the strategic genius of Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Right? Now, not everybody loves Taylor Swift's music, but she is a genius. And I just love watching what they have been able to attract. They bring joy, and they're able to have people like, why do people go and experience Disney to the degree that they do, 5 days and all the money and all the investment? Or why do they go to the Eras Tour and travel across the world to go? It's 3 hours of joy and excitement, and they give that person that joy. I mean, that's my goal, is to have somebody feel joyful when they've come through an experience with our organization and leave feeling more joyful. And the way you do it is to give them, glorify them, right? Take away, make them feel so good about themselves that they are shielded from all the negativity that you just talked about. I mean, we are in the worst negative time of life I can ever imagine being in historically. But what they both have been able to do is block out the noise from all the dissenters, because as soon as you do that, you're going to have negativity, right? I mean, it's amazing how social media, somebody could say, have a beautiful day, the sun is out and I'm walking the beach, and you can get 20 nasty comments from something beautiful like that, right?
It's like, how does that even happen?
Which can tear you down and say, I'll never do this again.
Yeah.
But what if you had safe havens where people said, that was a beautiful thing to say. You're a lovely person, and how can I help you?
Yeah.
I mean, we need to create these bubbles, because otherwise we're going to be going down this negative vortex.
Yeah. And as you said, just like with Disney, I always think about magic.
Yes.
You know, I think about like when you think about the magical feelings and just the essence of what that environment creates.
Yes.
Yes. I agree with that 100%.
It turns out they empower the team, the staff, to be able to sprinkle, I think it's fairy dust or something, on random people in the park. So maybe you can't do it for everyone, but the staff is empowered to go up to a family and say, you get to come to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Or they get to go up to a little child and give them a Disney pin that they've always wanted.
Yeah.
And they're empowered to, and that feeling bubbles beyond that feeling, because all the people walking by notice it. And it becomes these little magic droplets. And we did an exercise and said, okay, if you're in the middle and here's your organization, what do you want to do? And I wanted to be a fairy with a magic wand with different colors so that everybody got the flavor they wanted, right? Because not everybody wants the same thing. Somebody wants serious business advice. Somebody wants, help with their senior care. But I want to sprinkle fairy dust. That's really what I want to do.
Yeah, I love that.
In a businessy kind of strategic way.
Yeah. That makes me feel lighter just hearing that.
Yeah.
I'm like, just
because it doesn't have to be that serious, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
And the irony is these are the richest people in the world.
It's so true.
Right.
And just like when you came in with the podcast today, like that rigidity is not, it's for the birds. Like I love flexibility. I love authenticity. Like you coming in and us talking today is like off the cuff and not having like all these questions mapped out and everything. Like I truly believe like coming as you are and sharing from your heart, like that's what people really connect with.
Authenticity is so important, right? Because so many people can fool you. People are very good actors.
Yeah.
And you can be fooled. And it's hard. I know where we live here in Florida, people are from all over. They're reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's great. But they're also, maybe some people are not authentically being who they really are at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so, we have to navigate this. And that happens in every stage of our life, right?
It's so true.
As women, I think they say we go through 8 different major stages between being single and getting married and having children, and then, going through the next stage with empty nesters, and then, being, by yourself with your spouse, or by yourself after a divorce, or whatever that is. But we're always in these new chapters where we have to come up with a new version or at least find our people again.
Yeah, I agree. And I heard actually at one point that you actually do become a different person internally every 7 years. Like you regrow, like your cells and your bones and like everything else. Like you are completely different than you were 7 years ago.
And I believe that. I mean, when you think about it,
like
wisdom
the regeneration, from the way that you think to the things that you do to even from the internal aspect. And I'm like, that is so beautiful because that means you're always evolving, whether you realize it or not. Like you are actually like physically evolving.
And that goes back to what we were talking about before, which is, we do so many, Big has been my, my MBA playground. I've learned so much from so many people and in so many different ways. But one of the thoughts was, something like 90% of our thoughts are subconscious thoughts, right? So all of this history and all these things, they're sitting in the back of our brain and they're going to bubble up when they're triggered. So don't you want to make sure that those thoughts are positive and good and wholesome and not these negative, horrible experiences, because they will be triggered and you will live this life with negativity or doubt or fear or lack. And if you could turn that in every 7 years, you don't have to be the victim.
That's right. That's right. And the ability to choose, I think, is such a key component to this too.
Everyone has that. Yeah.
And that you can make a choice every single day. Everything that you say yes to, everything that you do is going to be a part of your journey, a part of the big picture, no matter how insignificant it may seem, that it is important. And I always think about that, in my head that, and we don't want to beat ourselves up over it, but just knowing that one choice, just like you chose, to move forward with big, it can make such a profound difference.
People live that fear factor. I mean, we keep bringing up fear, but fear is what holds women back, right? It's this lack of self-esteem and fear. And here's the thing. We need an IV of positivity, right? Because you can feel good on Tuesday and be in the worst place on Thursday because of social media or something that happens with your children or your family. And we are emotional beings, right? I mean, women have 2 emotional centers, men have 1. That is a very big benefit and a very big negative for both species, right? So that's a whole other topic, but we feel so much.
Yeah.
And those are great in the positive way, but in the negative way, we have to have an outlet for that.
That's right. That's right. And then, which goes back to the community that you're talking about.
If we have those safe havens, and that's what I hope to be, safe havens for people, then they have a place where they can stay on that track. They can work with you and accomplish these business goals and get through that, because business is all about confidence and self-esteem.
That's right.
You get business loans because they believe in the person, not because of what your business model is, right?
And people buy from you because they trust you 100%. And you're
100%.
confident about what you're sharing.
Right. But you have to keep remembering that every single day.
That's right. Deciding again, deciding like, this is who I'm going to be today. And that's why for me, words of affirmation, affirming specific things about my life, determining, those top 3 things, what am I prioritizing today? How am I showing up in the world?
Right.
What kind of mom do I want to be? And just making that decision right when you wake up.
Every morning.
Every morning.
And
every morning
if you can't do it yourself, if you can't do it for yourself, do it as a role model for the next generation. I mean, I have 2 daughters, right? And, what do I want them to look at? Because they look at everything we do. I mean, my daughters are now grown, but I mean, they remember things about when I was starting big, positive and negative. Like I was on the phone too much, but also my daughter wrote her college essay about me starting this organization. I didn't even know she knew what I was doing during the day.
Cool.
They pay attention, and we have that obligation to be role models for the next generation. Where are they going to get that information from?
I love it. That's so good. Well, Tara, thank you so much for being on today. This has been such an honor, such a privilege. And I would love if you could share with me and also with the audience, if there's something that's maybe something you've lived by or something you'd like to share as a word of encouragement that you feel just in, going forward. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. Yeah, a lot of people are, feeling this maybe kind of on edge. What would you say, going forward would be something that maybe someone could concentrate on or just have maybe as a destination or something that they could work towards?
So, I mean, there's so many ways you can go with this, but I'll just start with my word. We do a word of the year, right?
Yeah.
My word for 2026 is open, to be open to ideas, to new ways, to evolution.
Yeah.
But I would also caveat that to say with boundaries, right? Filter the openness through those core values. Make sure that everything is aligned with your values and what your purpose is.
Yes.
And if it's not, say thank you very much, but not right now. But if you can be open to ideas and then take the courage to act on them.
Well, I really appreciate you, and I love that advice, and I'll definitely have to have you back on the show soon.
Thank you, Genesis.
Love all of this. And for those of you that are not familiar with Big, I encourage you to check out Tara and everything that she is doing. She's on all social media platforms. She's got an incredible community, and she's continuing to build on this amazing foundation. So thank you again for tuning in to Dreaming Night Build. Please subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you next week.